After years of political back and forth, the pen finally hit the paper.
I hope that the world is watching, because having something that is a balance between industry and environment is going to be the way to go forward to protect your people.
Senate Bill 1396, now Act 96, creates what's being called a climate impact fee, also known as the green fee. The 0.75% increase to the state's transient accommodation tax hikes the TAT to 11% for tourism-related activities, including hotels and cruise ships. To break that down, for every $400 spent, $3 will go towards natural resource protection. The bill is projected to raise an estimated $100 million a year to address what the state says is about $500 million in critical funding needed to protect Hawaii's natural resources.
Hawaii just became the first state in history to charge a green fee for tourists. This will be an additional tax on all tourists to pay for climate change. This new initiative will take place on January 1st, 2026. This new fee will apply to travelers staying in hotels, Airbnbs, and for the first time ever, cruises. This will provide financing to make sure that resources are available in the future. This will help them raise at least $100 million every single year. They want to make sure that all tourists to Hawaii are contributing to the benefit of the island. This new bill was introduced due to the frequency of the natural disasters that have been happening in Hawaii. More specifically, the 2023 Maui wildfires. After these fires, the governor created the Climate Advisory Team. They developed climate disaster policy recommendations. Experts say that the efficiency of this tax is still up in the air. They're not sure if it's actually going to work or if it's going to be a detriment to the state. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Would you mind paying an extra tourist tax to visit Hawaii? Stay safe, stay informed, and follow me for more travel news.
Absolute BS. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and blessings as always, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Barakatham. Peace and blessings to the sincere believers, the hopefully elect out there, listening and learning. So, Hawaii is going to become the first U.S. state to charge a green fee on tourists. And as you heard, this is a measure being imposed to protect, so-called protect the environment, and to make sure that all tourists that visit Hawaii are contributing to the well-being of the islands, which makes zero sense, because if you're a tourist, you being there is already contributing to the well-being of the island. All right, you're spending money. All right, you're contributing to the economy, to the local economy of Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Now, anything outside of that, that's really on the state to deal with. But see, what you have, especially in America, Esau's corrupt society, is you have nothing but corrupt leaders that are ruling over the people. And this right here is nothing more than a Trojan horse for net zero, and ultimately this NWO in which Esau has been setting up for quite some time. Now, this is going to go into effect January 1st, 2026. So this is a trend that we've been seeing again. All right, Hawaii, in 2023, you had the Maui wildfires in Lahaina. All right, which we'll get into that. California this year, all right, burned down. You know what I'm saying? Now they're talking about there's going to be a smart city there for the 2028 Olympics, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. All right, so all over in America, these things are already taking place. And as a matter of fact, right now in Texas, you have a surveillance state being set up, literally right now. All right. I saw an article on that earlier, man. But look, Esau, he's moving with this agenda. All right. He ain't playing no games. So very soon, this is going to be like a China-like setup in which it's going to be 200 cameras for every one person. It's going to be a surveillance state. And what they're moving towards is getting everybody on the grid in the name of peace and safety, in the name of protecting the environment, which who destroyed the environment? Is it not Esau? You see, he's the one polluting the water. He's the one polluting the air. He's the one polluting the people. But now the people have to, go along with these laws and policies that he's setting up, which is nothing more than a cunningly devised plan to get you to accept his mark, which is eventually going to come very soon. So Hawaii imposes the nation's first climate change tax for tourists and is expected to generate 100 million annually. So we'll tap into this article. So like it. Let me refresh this page. There we go. So it says here, legislators in Hawaii are implementing a hefty tax on tourism that they believe will help the state government take action against climate change, which there is no such thing as climate change, all right? That's a made-up pseudo term by Esau to justify his agenda that he's bringing forth, all right? Simple as that. Known as the first ever quote-unquote green fee in the country, Hawaii's Act 96 will raise the state's current transient accommodations tax to 11%, meaning travelers staying in a hotel room that costs $300 per night will have to pay a $225 fee. So you paying all, you want to go out to Hawaii and you paying $300 for a hotel a night, which is expensive as hell, and you got to pay a fee to stay up in there. All right. That you still got to pay taxes at the end of the year. So this man is really triple taxing you, man. All right. Here it is. You got to pay federal tax, income tax, sales tax. You know what I'm saying? Now there's going to be this tax. All right. So Esau, Edom is the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. This man is completely unrighteous. You see, the money will then be used for civic projects such as replenishing sand on eroding beaches in Waikiki, implementing hurricane clips to secure roofs, and clearing flammable brush that contributed to the 2023 wildfire. And why don't you do this with taxpayers' money? Why why are you taking people's money if this new bill that you're going to put out is going to solve these problems? Shouldn't you already be doing that, Esau? All right, which shows you that, and really, to be truthful, Esau don't even invest in his own infrastructure. All right, the roads are falling apart, bridges are always collapsing. So all this money that he's taking from you, really what he's doing with it is he's putting it towards the military and giving it to the small hats. All right, your taxpayer dollars are not going towards the benefit of America, as they tell you. All right, it's all a lie. Legislators in Hawaii are implementing a hefty tax on tourism they believe will help the state. According to USA Today, travelers will have to pay a fee based on the nightly rate of their travel accommodations. For example, travelers staying in a hotel room that costs $300 per night will have to pay $225 fee. Once again, Hawaii is at the forefront of protecting our natural resources. You see, so he's doing this in the name of safety, peace, and safety, right? To protect the environment, right? We need to ensure that Hawaii's economy continues to flourish, right? But here it is, you're setting arson to your own cities, all right? You're destroying your own people, man. And now this is the solution that he's bringing in. Remember, this devil has a order out of chaos agenda that's playing out. This is exactly what it looks like here. Recognizing their fundamental role in sustaining the ecological, cultural, and economic health of Hawaii, Green said in a statement. As an island chain, Hawaii cannot wait for the next disaster. These devils are something else, man. All right, if there is a disaster in Hawaii, it's them that's causing it. You see, to hit before taking action. We must build resiliency now, and the green fee will provide the necessary financing to ensure resources are available for our future. And again, why not just use taxpayer dollars, right? I mean, that's what it's supposed to be for. But this is being used now. All right. So man, Esau got to go. Cruise ships were previously able to bypass this fee according to the outlets, but the new bill hopes to promote equity. Damn. Equity across the tourism industry. And you know, just reading this, it gets you hot in the spirit because Esau is just a complete hypocrite, man. All right. Here it is. This man destroys the environment. Then he comes in as the savior talking about, oh, yeah, well, you know, we need to provide equity. When you. Yo, we got to get out of here, man. But it's like, when has Esau ever been a man of equity? When has he ever been righteous to any degree? Never. All right. And see, this is why people are rising up. You know, as it says in I believe that's what Job the 20th chapter. You know that the heavens shall reveal his iniquity and the earth shall rise up against him. This is why everybody's coming up against this damn devil, man, because his hypocrisy has reached unto the heavens, and he's doing it in such a way to where you can't even just ignore it anymore. It's like his hypocrisy is now the center focus in your everyday life. All right. That's how wicked that this man is. But anyway, let's continue. So he's saying that this is to promote equity across the tourism industry, ensuring that all visitors to Hawaii contribute to the island's long-term resilience and well-being. Officials estimate that the signing of this bill, which comes nearly 2 years after the Maui wildfire that destroyed more than 100 people and wiped out almost an entire town, will generate nearly $100 million annually. The money will then be used for civic projects such as replenishing sand and eroding beaches in Waikiki. All right, so that's pretty much it for the article. All right, but check this out. I went to ChatGPT because this is all a part of the net zero agenda. So I said, what is the net zero agenda and how is it being applied right now? The net zero agenda is a global effort to reduce greenhouse gases emissions to the point where any remaining emissions are balanced by activities that remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, such as reforestation or carbon capture and storage. The ultimate goal is to halt global warming, which once again, there is no such thing as global warming. All right, that's a made up pseudo term by Esau, and stabilize the climate, typically aiming to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, as outlined in the Paris Agreement. So the key elements of the net zero: emissions reduction, cutting carbon dioxide, okay, which human beings and all life on the earth use carbon, okay, which this is why very soon this man is going to implement a carbon tax, all right, to where you're not going to be able to do certain activities, all right. This is why he's been pushing the whole EV, the electric vehicle push so hard over these past few years, because in his pseudoscience, regular gas-powered vehicles produce too much carbon. It pollutes the earth too much, all right? So he doesn't want you to have a car. He now wants you to do a ride share in an electric vehicle, okay, which these electric vehicles, they are going to be tapped into the grid, okay? They're going to be tapped into the grid, so a Tesla or whatever other EV that they have, that they're going to know where you are at all times, and you won't be able to travel outside of the range of that particular vehicle. You see what I'm saying? So again, this is a very cunningly devised plan by Esau Edom. Carbon removal using natural, forest, soil, or technological methods such as direct air to absorb CO2. And at the same time, all right, this man is rapidly deforesting the earth, okay, which trees naturally reduce the amount of harmful carbon in the atmosphere, all right. But this man is cutting down trees at an alarming rate, okay. He's cutting down the trees, which is not going to be as efficient in removing toxins from the air. So by default, you're going to be breathing in more toxins, which is going to lead to more sickness, which is going to make him more money in his hospital pharmaceutical industry. All right, so this man Esau is diabolical, man. All right, as the scriptures say, the heart is deep. All right, this man accomplished a diligent search. This is all that he do, just continuously devise iniquity day in and day out. Compensating for emissions that are hard to eliminate by investing in projects that reduce or remove emissions elsewhere. All right, so how is it being applied right now as of 2025? The European Union, the EU Green Deal and Fit for 55 package aim to reduce net emissions by 55% by 2030, which we're less than 5 years away from 2030. All right, you have to remember that this is a 2030 agenda. So the closer that we get to 2030, the more you're going to start to see these things being implemented. All right, just think back to the beginning of the CV19. All right, back then they was talking about this type of stuff. Now you actually seeing it being rolled out. You see, in the U.S., the Inflation Reduction Act came out in 22, funds clean energy, EVs, and carbon capture. China pledged carbon neutrality by 2060. India, net zero target set for 2070. And look, we not going to be here. Lord will, we not going to be here till no 2030, man. Damn sure not no 2070. These heathen don't have that long. All right. Because if Esau was allowed to run until 2070, there would be no flesh saved, man. Like this man would destroy all life on the earth. All right. Check this out. In the corporate sector, thousands of companies have made net zero pledges, including Amazon, Microsoft, and Shell. And have you not been seeing massive layoffs happen in these corporate industries, Amazon, Microsoft, and Shell? All right, you've been seeing mass layoffs in these industries, man, and it's all tied to this net zero agenda, all right, which is going to lead into the mark, all right, which you're going to have to take that in order to operate on some sort of, feasible level to sustain your life, okay? Because, again, they're going to limit your carbon to a certain number a day, and if you breathe too much or if you have too much sex or whatever the case, they're going to cut you off and you ain't going to be able to buy and sell. It's all going to be tied to a social credit score, which is going to directly influence how you operate in the beast system. All right, so this is complete control that's coming down from these devils. Right. Then I said, can a carbon footprint stop me from doing certain activities? And it said a carbon footprint itself doesn't physically stop you from doing activities, but it can influence your choices, which is the whole point. All right. Reading on, especially if you're trying to reduce your impact or if you're subject to policies, rules, or market pressure that take carbon emissions into account. All right. Which these devils, they're going to tell you to, look, we've gone into lessons where we've seen the rhetoric. All right. Klaus Schwab is like, we want to cut down air travel. You know what I'm saying? Traveling from driving in your car from state to state. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures say that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right. It's going to be checkpoints. They're going to be locking stuff down. It's going to be martial law. All different type of stuff is going to be going on at the same time. And it's all to usher in this beast system. All right. Personal choices. If you're aiming to lower your footprint, you might choose to avoid or limit frequent flying, right? Driving gas-powered cars, eating a lot of red meat or dairy, which Klaus Schwab said, what? You shall eat the bugs, all right? That's what Klaus said. Okay, so in all these things that we read in here, these are all tenets of the net zero agenda, okay, which is synonymous with the NWO, all right? Buying fast fashion or excess consumer goods because they're going to limit and ration things out to you as they see fit according to your social credit score, living in large energy inefficient homes, which is why a lot of people are losing their homes in this time. Okay, they're being priced out of owning a home, can't afford the mortgage, can't afford the property tax, can't afford the homeowners insurance, you know what I'm saying, on top of other bills. So they're causing you ultimately to opt into this new system that they're going to bring, and it's all going to be in the name of peace, safety, and convenience. All right. And of course, yeah, check this out. Government policies and regulations, which these things are coming down. Governments increasingly use carbon pricing bans or incentives that make high carbon activities more difficult or expensive. You see that? So they're using policies and regulations to incentivize people to not use gas-powered vehicles, you know what I'm saying? To not eat red meat or meat, period. You know what I'm saying? To not want to travel as much. Carbon taxes raise the cost of fossil fuels, airline tickets, or emissions heavy goods. You see that? So this is what we're seeing right now. Inflation, soon to be hyperinflation. All right. Very soon, just as we saw a few years ago when gas went up, in some places, gas was damn near $9 a gallon out there in California. You know what I'm saying? I think it was almost 10. You know what I'm saying? That was a taste of things that are to come very soon. All right, so they're going to raise the cost of gas, airline tickets, or emissions heavy goods. So travel very soon is about to be non-existent. Ain't nobody going to be traveling because they're not going to be able to afford it, especially the average working class citizen. All right. Low emission zones restrict polluting vehicles from city centers. All right. So they're going to have zones, you know what I'm saying, to where, and this right here goes into the 15-minute city, okay, in which you're not going to be allowed outside of a certain radius, okay, mainly within 15 minutes of your living area. All right. And whatever, you know, even if you do have a vehicle, it's going to be limited to traveling outside of that area. Furthermore, they're going to have checkpoints to where you can't get out. All right. 2nd Ezra 15 speaks about that. Ban on fossil fuel heating home. Salakia, let me read it again. Ban on fossil fuel heating systems in a new building in some countries. Subsidies for EVs and solar panels encourage low carbon alternatives. All right. As social norms shift, you might feel pressure or encouragement to, which is the same thing in China. All right, it's the same thing happening in China. Like in China, they actually incentivize people to pretty much snitch on their neighbors. All right, so if you see that your neighbor, but this is wild, but if you see that your neighbor been drinking too much soda or something like that, then you can snitch on them. All right, and they'll pay you, a certain amount of money. You know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, your credit score will go up. All right, because you're reporting bad behavior. Same thing is coming to America, Babylon the Great. All right, people are going to be incentivized to turn on one another. All right, for the convenience of the beast system. All right, so it says avoid high emission behaviors, flying private, participate in low carbon lifestyles or events. Which low carbon lifestyle is basically you not being able to live, right? Not being able to have a good quality of life, man. That's what Esau is setting up on his earth. Then when you go here, we just tap on this real quick. Maui's ambitious step towards becoming the first smart city, AI powered governance. And this is from September 2023, right? And I believe the fires happened in August. So a month after, and even before, all right, I just pulled this one because, this goes into the AI governance, you know what I'm saying? But even before that fire happened, you had articles out that were pretty much saying that Hawaii was moving towards becoming a smart city. Okay, then, after the event happened, this is it, okay? That was the purpose of the whole fire, okay? Out of chaos, you bring the new order, all right? And in places like Maui, Lahaina, you know what I'm saying, are going to be the blueprint for how things are going to be in America. And right now in 2025, you have multiple cities across America that are implementing these smart initiatives. All right, laws are being passed under the books, man. Okay, the lush, picturesque island of Maui has long been a paradise for tourists seeking sun, surf, and stunning landscapes. However, it is also home to a thriving community of residents who envision a future for their island that goes beyond its natural beauty. And nobody in Hawaii desires that, you know what I'm saying? Because Hawaii is a very beautiful place, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much paradise, man. So what could be better than what Yahweh Bashmel Shai already created? Well, Esau, in his mind, he wants to outdo the Most High. So his idea of outdoing Yahweh Bashmel Shai is making things in his image, okay? Taking away the natural order that the Lord set up and putting his new order in there, which is satanic. All right? So this is this for Esau is going to be a better version. And I guarantee you that nobody that lives in Hawaii has been satisfied with living there for some time, wants these things to happen. But it's going to happen anyway because it's all a part of the agenda. In a bold move, Maui's government has announced plans to transform the island into the first ever smart city. See that? Harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to enhance governance and improve the quality of life for its citizens. And mind you, this is from 2023. All right, we're in the middle of 2025, halfway through the year already. You know what I'm saying? And the prophets, the men of the Lord, have been telling you these things were coming. All right. Now you see it. The vision of Maui's smart city. In January, Maui's government convened a historic conference to unveil. Check it out. So this happened, the fires happened in August, but in January, they had a meeting, right? Let's read. Convened a historic conference to unveil its visionary plan for transforming the island into a smart city. Can't make this up. The goal is to leverage AI technology to enhance various aspects of governance, infrastructure, and public services. The conference brought together experts in AI, government officials, and community leaders to brainstorm and chart the course towards a smarter Maui. Okay, which part of that was burning the place down, all right, and rebuilding it to be smart, all right? So you get the point from that article. Just wanted to tap into that real quick. Now we get some precepts. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6, all right? Because, Esau, Edom, is very forward, man, okay? Meaning that he's stubbornly disobedient, very difficult, hard to deal with, all right? This man is completely rebellious. Proverbs 6 and verse 12, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart, he deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly, suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. You see that? So Esau, he's a very froward man, okay? And let's tap into forward, right? Forwardness of a person, difficult to deal with, contrary. See, and Esau, he's the adversary, man, because he comes in the spirit of the spiritual being Satan, all right, which is adverse to the ways of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. This man come in the same spirit, all right. That's why he's forward, man. Okay, then you go to Daniel 8, Daniel 8, in verse 25, and through his policy. Also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. You see, so it says, by peace shall he destroy many. Okay, so this man is doing this thing, putting these smart initiatives into effect as a peace and safety measure. All right, but really what's going to happen is this is all a setup to get you with the MOTB, all right? Because eventually he's going to come with the mark and he's going to present this to you and say, all right, nobody can buy or sell. You know what I'm saying? You can't continue to operate your business. You can't continue to be employed. You can't buy food, you know what I'm saying, if unless you take this device, okay? And it's all going to be in the name of peace and safety, to verify that you're a human being, to verify that you are who you say you are, that you're a part of the system, that you down basically. And if you're not, you're going to be outside of that, man. And you're not going to receive no benefits. But anybody that takes that RFID microchip, they're going to be destroyed, man. So it's all a setup to destroy you, all right? That's why you got to be aware of the wiles of the devil, all right? And the only way that you can do that is through tapping in through the spirit of Yahweh Bashmi Shai, okay? Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 12, in verse 17, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, Esau. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. See? So this man is pretending to help you, telling you that, oh, you know, you need to reduce your carbon so we can live in a more safe earth, you know, so everybody can benefit. Well, no. The way to ensure that the earth is ran properly is to eliminate the Edomite. All right, because Esau, he's the problem with the earth. He's the common denominator in everybody's problems. All right, it says in Proverbs 29 that when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, so the fact that you have everybody mourning right now, who's the source of that mourning? All right, all these laws, you know what I'm saying? People losing their job, people coming down with severe health complications, man. All right, the food being all messed up, the atmosphere, the water. All right, you have mass animal death. Who's responsible for that? Who rules the earth? It's Esau, okay? So truly, if you want the earth to be at peace, then you got to get rid of the Edomite, all right? Because he's the source. Yeah, like I was saying, if you want the earth to be at peace, you got to get rid of the Edomite, because he's the reason why the earth is all messed up. All right, that's the true solution, but he's not gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, he's been set up by Yahweh Bashmi Shai to bring forth this left-hand agenda. You know what I'm saying? Esau set up for a purpose, man. But at the end, he's going to perish. Verse 18, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. You see? So at the end of it all, man, you know, Esau, he's destined for destruction. You know what I'm saying? All the way he's doing, it's all a means to an end. And the end is that this NWO come forth, you know what I'm saying, that he bring the MOTB, that he jump off World War III, and that his ass be taken out and the kingdom of heaven be set up. This is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. All right, and Esau, he is not a wise judge, okay, because right now he has rule over the earth. But look at how messed up everything is. Look how degenerate of a state that the people are, that the animals are, that the environment is. You know what I'm saying? It's all under his unwise counsel and judgment. All right? And doesn't it say in Obadiah, you know, that the Lord would even destroy the wise men out of Edom? You know what I'm saying? So it's clear that this Edomite, he has no judgment, and he's losing it. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. See? So this earth is in desperate need of new rulership, man, of new governance, because the current government that's set up is not profitable. Reading on. Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, Yahweh Shai is going to restore all things to its proper order. Okay, after all, what? He is the Prince of Peace, right? So Yahweh Shai is going to bring peace. All right, but before the wicked, for these Edomites and these heathen, they're going to have no rest. Okay, they're going to serve 1,000 years of slavery. And, you know, the heathen nations, you know, after they serve 8,000 years, they're going to be allowed to, you know, have their lands and their families, and, you know, they're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? As long as they do what they're supposed to do. But Esau, as the scriptures say, he's going to be cast out like an abominable branch. All right. Obadiah 1:18, there shall be none remaining of the house of Esau. All right, so that's his fate. You know what I'm saying? And it's well deserved, man. Like just look at how this man has ruled the earth in anger. All right. Verse 5, in the hand of Yahweh is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. All right. So this is what you have going on. You know, this is the end of you all being set up right before you. And this thing is right around the corner, man. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, call law, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kadash. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Come Yashalo, Wa Baba Ball. Shalom.